guys, I thought I'd come on and give you just an update of what's been going on. Not much. Sorry about the lighting. It's raining outside right now, so it's dark on this side and I have a light on over here. Today is my buddy's 16th birthday, Elliott. Want to say hi, Elliott? Come here. Come say hi to the people. Look. Yep, he's 16 today. Can't believe it. Come on. He's been there for me through a lot. Yeah, and my 3 younger kids. Today's his birthday, and the 24th will be the 16th anniversary of my son and his pregnant wife's passing. He went over the center line and hit somebody head on. And when I didn't have I had a dog. I had adopted a German Shorthair Pointer. Long story there. While I was in Maine taking care of my son's funeral and stuff, we had just moved into a house 2 weeks prior, and my ex and I split up. Well, I had surgery on my thumb, and then the next day my ex was picked up on non-child support and a DUI that I never knew he had, so he went to jail, and then my son was killed and his pregnant wife. So I went to Maine, and we had just moved into this house, and I was not going back with my ex. I was done. So I asked my son-in-law and daughter if they could empty my house, which wasn't all the way empty yet. I had a cargo trailer, I still had stuff in, and they left half of what I owned and my kids owned. So my daughter came up to Maine, she flew out, and my son-in-law was watching my dog. It was a young pup, a little over a year, but still, if you know anything about German Shorthairs, they're wild if they're not properly trained as a puppy, and this one wasn't. That's why the lady was getting rid of it. And we also just got a new Siamese kitten. And while I was there, a woman in Maine, a woman who raised huskies, contacted my uncle and said that Stacy, my daughter-in-law, who had passed, had come through her window that night and spoke to her about Corey, and she needed to speak to his mom, me. So she got a hold of my uncle, small town up in Maine. Well, actually, Bar Harbor, so really not that small, but she got a hold of my uncle. Our name is well known up there. We're all from there. And I went over there, and I was telling her that, I had to take care of stuff up here. I didn't know how long it was going to be, and I had a dog and a kitten, and so she was setting up foster care for them the next day. Well, that day I wasn't even told that my son-in-law took my pets to the shelter. So when I found out the next day, I was livid. I called the shelter, and they said, oh, no, the owner turned them in, and they're adopted already, which isn't true. And I explained to them that these weren't his dogs, they were mine. They were my dog and cat. And they didn't want to hear anything about it. And I was pissed. How could they do that after I just lost a child? So months went on, and I decided to go to therapy. Because I tried to go to the Catholic Church. I was raised Catholic. They never answered the door. They never called me back. I just wanted some counsel. I was very angry at God. Very angry. How could you take not just my son, but take a mother, a pregnant mother. She was 5 months pregnant, and they left 3 kids that were severely injured. And who wouldn't be mad at God for taking these parents away from these 3 young children and taking a baby? I was just angry, so I decided to go to therapy since Catholic Church, yet again, let me down. And my therapist says, well, maybe it's time you got another dog. And I didn't even think about it. I wanted a German Shorthair Pointer for years. And on my way back, moving to Colorado, a few months before this, I got in touch with a breeder in Kansas, but there was a tornado, and I had passed the exit by 2 hours, and she said, because I just wanted to check out her kennel and her puppies and her dogs. And she said, well, since we didn't have the puppies yet, because there was a bitch that was pregnant, just to let you know when they're born, I can come back out. But then when I went to the shelter one day on Mother's Day, I got nudged in the butt, and I turned around, and it's a German Shorthair Pointer. The lady was just bringing it in. I'm like, this was meant to be. But I lost her. Her name was Tesla. So my therapist says, it's time to get a dog. So I remember, I'm not one to buy from pet shops. I've worked in pet shops before and saw the horrors before I knew about puppy mills. But there's a family-owned business in Grand Junction that sold, would have occasional litter from the area, right in Grand Junction. I have Elliott's address of where he was born. So I went there, and I remember seeing, we always stopped in because we had a cat and fish. So we always stopped in this pet shop on the way home. And I remember seeing this litter of rat terriers. And I remember this little black and white female. She was so cute. So I decided, well, let's go back, see if they're there, because I can only have a dog up to 30 pounds where I lived. So we went back to this little pet shop, and the only one left was Elliott. I'm like, okay. Well, they took us in the back room, behind the cages and whatnot. And Elliott was a mess. He ran around like a bat out of hell. Couldn't catch him, wouldn't come near you. I'm thinking, wow, that's not the dog for me. But we bought him anyway. Brought him home. A week later, he got loose, and took us a half an hour to catch him. And then he became dog reactive, mailman, UPS man, FedEx man, the neighbor, anybody. He didn't like men. He hated other dogs, and I was a dog trainer, and I could not train this animal. And yeah, but he has been there, and then he was born August 22nd, and my son was killed August 24th, so I thought that he was meant for me, and he has been there through multiple letdowns and joyous occasions, everything, and for the past 8 years, he's been a nomad, and he's been all over the country. His favorite is the beach, down the shore in Jersey, the beach in Ocean City. He used to love kayaking, now he doesn't. Yeah, that's why we got Owen. But where was I going with all this? But today is his birthday, and even though he's been a pain in my ass and the worst dog I've ever owned, he's been a constant companion. He has saved me in many, many incidences where there was someone he didn't like, and he let them know about it. I got a knock one day. I was resting at a truck stop in, I think, Indiana. And I had moved 3 times because I didn't know where to park. I was towing a pop-up, and I had my Hummer, and I finally decided to go back to the first position I was in. It was during the pandemic, and there was a restaurant on the side of Denny's, on the side of the gas station. But I thought they were going to open, so I moved. And then there was a bunch of guys that came back to sleep on a bus. I guess they were workers in the fields. I said, well, that wasn't safe. Then I parked over by the entrance, but there was this old beat-up motorhome, and that didn't feel safe. So back to the parking lot in Denny's. Pulled next to a street light and got comfortable in the front seats. And I was reading a book, and I have a 357 snub nose, and I had it laying on my lap. And next thing I know, I hear a knock on the window, and my hand flew up. My knuckles hit the window, and the man jumped back. He goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's damn lucky I didn't have my gun in my hand, because I probably would have busted my window. I'm like, what do you want? He goes, oh, I saw that, you know, do you need any help? I'm like, I'm laying in the front seat of my car reading a book. Does it look like I need help? So he'd been watching me. I think he might have been a trucker, because they were parked on the other side. I think he'd been watching me. And after I got, this little brief interaction, Elliott went nuts. And the man backed up, and for a little 12-pound dog, men have been afraid of him. He's bit 2 people. My ex, for one, in the face when I told him not to get like this in Elliott's face, and he nailed him. But he went nuts, and the guy backed off, and I said, I don't need help, thank you. Well, I got in my driver's seat, took off, went like 5 minutes down the road. There was a brand new Love's, and I spent the night there. It was perfectly safe and sound, but Elliott scared this guy away. And he bit my granddaughter's boyfriend. We're in Louisiana, and Elliott's always in a seatbelt if he's not in his crate, and he's in the middle seatbelt at that time. He could only reach the window. And I said, don't go in the truck. Don't stick your head in the window. Leave Elliott alone. Oh, all dogs love me. Next thing I hear is, "Roof!" And he bit him from his eye down to his jaw. Elliott just nailed him. And then he's like, I'm telling my mother I'm going to sue you. And everybody there knew I said, don't go near my truck. And Elliott could only go to the window. So it's not like Elliott got out of the window and bit him. He stuck his head in. And it just pissed me off. But Elliott, that was his truck, and he knew it. And he was protecting it, just like he protects his family. So, I don't know where I went with that, but I went down a rabbit hole there. But that's my Elliott. He's been a handful. The past few years, he's calmed down. He doesn't bark anymore, really, at people. Owen's picking that up for me. And he's just been a constant companion to me. And he's been loving, even though he loves the idea of getting in the vehicle, he hates traveling. Hates it. Used to have to cover his crate, all 4 sides, so he couldn't see anything, even the top. And couldn't feed him, or he'd have projectile vomiting all over the place. In the past couple of years, 3 years ago, I decided, you're not going in your crate anymore. Well, then I got Owen, and Elliott just would panic and shake and drool. So I put him back in his crate, and he's a lot better. But, yeah. That's him. Want to say hi one more time? Come here. Come here. Come on. Up. Come on. Come on. There you go, guys. I'll wish him a happy birthday, even though this video won't go up till tomorrow. But right? So we're going to do something special today, even though it's raining. I don't know what we're going to do, but probably take him around the campground in the golf cart. He liked that the other day. Right? My daughter said take him kayaking. I did that last year, and he bailed as soon as we got near the shore. And he used to love it. Maybe a nice warm bath later. Alrighty, buddy? Alright, guys, I've rambled on enough about my dog. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you all have a good day. Again, with the bye.